Has your fantasy season so far been a total and complete stinker? Well, it's not too late to turn it around and still have some fun. Don't worry about that team that has 2 wins or that team that has 3 wins and has no chance of making the playoffs. Still compete in your league because that's good sportsmanship. But instead, join Underdog Fantasy, a proud sponsor of the Fantasy Couriers. You can do daily, weekly drafts for single games or for multiple games. You can also join the Pick'em contest where you can choose, will a player get higher or lower? Will Josh Allen get higher than 273.5 yards or will he get lower? The options are endless. There is so much fun to be had with Underdog Fantasy Sports. Join now with the code Couriers and your deposit will be matched. Plus, you'll support an amazing, awesome podcast. Speaking of which, now on to the show.
What is happening, fellow fantasy GMs? I am JJ Wang. He is the bearded one, DJ Dub. And with our powers combined, we are the Fantasy Couriers.
JJ Wang, we were talking about this before we got online. As your hand is on the screen for those watching YouTube, it's fun watching JJ Wang's hand. He's adjusting. It was kind of an interestingly smelly week. Like we thought the other week we had some low scores. This week scores weren't, I don't think, that low, but there was only because a couple of guys just killed it. Oh man.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, this is my last week not being able to watch football. So going forward, I'll be able to watch. But looking at the stats, there just wasn't a whole lot. Of course, that's all I can go by. I mean, if there's a bunch of low fantasy scores, I mean, again, I can't imagine the games being all that good. I mean, I've only really noticed 3 or 4 good fantasy games, and they were all on the same team. So I mean, we'll go over that here in a little later. But yeah, kind of low, kind of bummy week.
I mean, we had some super stinkers going on this week, and we're recording while watching the tail end here of the Cowboys-Eagles game. So y'all know the results, but we're doing it in live time so we can get back to our families. But I mean, probably one of the bigger news, I guess bigger news of the week is 2 quarterback injuries. I'm sure we'll revisit one a little more later. Concussion to the rookie in Minnesota, who I had to start somehow. All 3 of my quarterbacks. It's a 2 quarterback league. All 3 of my quarterbacks in our auction league were out. 2 on bye, and then Matt Stafford's finger. So I ended up having to start. What's his name in Minnesota, and he went out with a concussion. But bigger, Danny Dimes. Probably a torn ACL, which means rest of this year. And what is it? It's November, so most of next year. Does that make the Giants contenders for like one of the rookie quarterbacks?
Oh, I mean, it definitely does. I mean, we've seen how fast Kyler Murray's been able to come back. So, I mean, at this point, I mean, I feel like Kyler Murray was hurt still a little later in the season last year, and if Kyler Murray's able to come back, I mean, Daniel Jones could be looking at the beginning of next season, but Daniel Jones really wasn't all that great pre-knee injury. Will he be that good post-knee injury? And I think if the Giants are bad enough and a quarterback's there, they paid him a lot of money.
I was going to say, they paid him a lot. Do they even think
paid
about
him a lot of money, but if you have the opportunity to get a quarterback with your quarterback coming off an injury, I feel like you got to take it.
I mean, the other quarterback will be cheap, so that'll be like, quarterback will be a cheap rookie.
Oh yeah, I mean, it's not like
his contract till it goes out. You eat it.
But the problem is, I mean, having to bench Daniel Jones because he's making so much money. That's just the hard part. Someone making $35 million a year, and you got to set them, and you're setting them on the bench. I mean, that's got to hurt the owner a lot.
Yeah, on another more important note, that's a pretty money shirt, dude. It's a podcast, so most people don't see it. He's wearing a Wolverine shirt. I love me some Wolverine. That's pretty money, man.
I do like me some Wolverine.
I love you. So here we go.
Pleasure.
And pain.
Yeah, pleasure and pain is. I bet there's a lot more pain this week than pleasure, but we'll start out on Thursday. Go talk about Will Levis real quick. I mean, granted, it wasn't the Will Levis from last Sunday, but I mean, it wasn't like a terrible game. I mean, this is the kind of game you would expect someone like Will Levis to have if he's going to be like a decent quarterback, right? I mean,
Yeah.
he has bright moments, bad moments, good moments, but overall, I mean, I think Will Levis at this point with the way the quarterbacks are going down, I mean, you're probably going to be starting Will Levis next week anyway, right?
Oh, I have to. Tua's on a bye week,
Yeah,
so
so
I get to start him. I'm so excited.
yeah, so
But the
I
thing,
mean, he
he
played well enough to continue playing.
I saw someone on Twitter or Instagram, sorry, it just popped up as a feed. They're like, Will Levis is going to be around for a while. Like, he played, the Steelers defense isn't, they're not like the 85 Bears, but they're also not like, the Arizona Cardinals. So but they're still a pretty good defense, and they were putting some good pressure on him, and he didn't look as flustered. He had a couple rookie knucklehead plays, like one where he was like falling and threw the ball backwards. I was like, "What are you doing?" But otherwise, he looked more confident in the having to deal with all that mess than most
Yeah,
rookies would have. I mean,
hey, look good. Keep putting
better
him
than
out
Clayton
there.
too.
Like I said, there's only like 6 healthy quarterbacks. I mean, you're going to have to start him. Go to the other side of the ball. Deontay Johnson, solid wide receiver 2 start, right?
Yeah, yeah. He got a touchdown. How about that?
Yeah,
I thought all he did was catch balls, getting that touchdown. That was a saving grace. I mean, I don't know what's happening to my team in the league where I just got him off waivers. That team's garbage. You can
yeah.
have anybody on my team if you want him. But yeah, he's got a touchdown, which is something Deontay Johnson's don't get. So it's a treat. It's a pleasure. Usually you get for him, his pleasure is receptions and yards.
Yeah.
He's like a poor man's Julio Jones, I guess, from back in the day.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I mean, I think you put him in your line. I mean, you're confident that he's not going to give you a 0 or he's not going to give you a 2. I think he's
Oh
got
yeah,
a
no, I think he's
very
good
high
for
floor.
10.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Going to the first game we'll talk about since it's on Sunday morning game, Dolphins Chiefs. Looking at the fantasy scores, it just looks like a bad game overall. The only good option was Raheem Mostert. But other than that, Jalen Waddle gets hurt. Tua doesn't look good. I mean, it just seems like all pain. Mahomes, I mean, I get Mahomes looked okay, but not a great fantasy day, and that's what we play. That's kind of a Travis Kelsey. I mean,
Hope.
Taylor Swift not being able to make the journey over to Germany.
I thought we'd make it without having to hear that name.
Another bad game. Of course, the receivers are all terrible. Just a pain overall.
The pleasure, actually, I drew two pleasures from this game, which were pleasures that nobody would have thought. Someone asked me this morning, the defenses. Those two offenses are running gun offenses. Patrick Mahomes throwing to everybody, Tua and the speed guys. The Chiefs stopped the speed offense, which apparently good teams do to the Dolphins. But the Dolphins slowed down Patrick Mahomes, which has been done a little more recently. But if you watch the game closely, he didn't look that good, but both defenses looked pretty good there. I was more disappointed by that it ended on a bad center to quarterback snap. I was more mad about that. I went and cut up a tree with a chainsaw. I was so frustrated by that ending. Like, I don't mind losing to a great team, but that just
I feel
made me
like
mad.
if you wanted to get out your frustration, you would have used an axe, not a chainsaw.
Oh no, I have to. I'm at the point where it's too thick, so I'm going to axe the rest of it. So that'll be later. As part of my CrossFit workout, is I'm going to do the axe. And the Cowboys look like the Titans catching it on 2-yard line to lose the game. It's Dyson all over again.
Cowboys lose. Surprise,
Yeah.
surprise. All right, we're going to move into Minnesota and Atlanta here. A battle of backup quarterbacks all around. You got Taylor Heineke, which we know who Taylor Heineke is, and the whole guy. He ends up going down with concussion, like you said earlier. Then that brings in Josh Dobbs. Just sad Tuesday puts in a crazy game. I mean, I'm just super impressed by Josh Dobbs here. So my first for real of the week, Josh Dobbs, it sounds crazy, but a potential top 12 quarterback. Looking at the numbers, is that for real or faux real here?
I was going to change. I'm watching the game this afternoon, and I was going to change my background for the podcast to Josh Dobbs because he's my new favorite player.
I love this guy. I love this guy.
Dude is not a great player, but he is legit. He could be, as weird as it sounds, like when you look at like fantasy MVPs, he's got to be in the discussion because this dude, nobody drafted. You got him off the waivers, and you had a QB. He's had like what, 2 poop weeks, but
Yeah.
everybody does. I mean, look at Travis Kelsey, 4 points this week. I had a team where I have Kelsey and McCaffrey. You want to talk about a team getting slapped in the butt? But Josh Dobbs, he gets traded. Nobody played him this week, so everything he scored is a surefire waste of whatever he did. And then he comes in and just kills it. He is one of my new favorite players. He's the new Geno Smith, right?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, kind of. Yeah, I mean, pretty much fits that mold. I can't be nothing but impressed. He's done it twice this year. And to anybody that says you can't play quarterback the week after you're traded, Josh Dobbs has proven it all wrong. So maybe it's playing quarterback isn't really all that hard, right?
He's not a tight end. That's hard.
Yeah, I guess that's hard. But yeah, kudos Josh Dobbs. I love him. Yeah, just pumping him out there for fantasy. I mean, you can't gotta rely on him every week, right?
Oh, not as I don't like we say QB1. I don't through the bye weeks. Yes, once we get to full fledged, if you got to start Josh Dobbs as your QB1 in the fantasy playoffs, it would make you feel smart, but you're not gonna win. I mean, but then again, he's gonna get He should get Jefferson back, Hawkinson. I mean, if Akers is healthy, Akers and Madison in the backfield, and Addison's playing well, but Osborne got knocked out.
Well, didn't I see a thing where Akers might have tore his Achilles?
I didn't
or
see what
something?
the injury was. I knew he was out. I did not get the injury.
I think I seen where they said he might have tore his Achilles. So I mean, his career may be over.
Yep, that's it. Achilles
Yeah,
appeared to have sustained Achilles. Isn't that what he did before?
yeah. So that's unfortunate.
He's Deonta Foreman. Didn't Foreman do it twice?
I think he only
No,
did it
Akers did it
once.
twice. He did it twice, right?
Akers. This is Akers' second time.
Or is it third? Who did
I
it
think it's
twice?
his second. I
Oh,
think it's his second. I don't know. I
yeah.
don't know either. But yeah, I mean, so
That
I mean,
sucks. We liked him.
that's a pain that I like, but just never really panned
What
out.
could have been.
Moving over to the Bears and Saints, not a whole lot to talk about. The most exciting thing is Taysom Hill again. Are we pushing out Taysom Hill and maybe as a fantasy league winner going forward?
I almost put him as my starting quarterback on my Yahoo free daily lineup just because he's getting QB designation again. I mean, the dude ran for a touchdown, threw a touchdown to the other tight end. So it was like a tight end to tight end touchdown pass. That's got to have never happened. Yeah, I think so. Because with the tight end landscape being poop, Taysom Hill's going to end up being what, the number 4 tight end on the year behind Hawkinson, Andrews, and Kelsey.
I mean, if he keeps doing this, he's going to be the number 1 tight end.
Kelsey's got to have a couple more 4-pointers. So Kelsey and Andrews are still killing it. Hawkinson, he'll get past him.
I feel like
Yeah,
Kelsey has had a few 4-pointers already. But all right, moving over to the Packers and Rams. Not a whole lot to talk about. The Rams offense is just kaput with
oh,
Brett Rippon. I mean, that's just going to be a disaster. So if you got Cooper Kupp, it's going to be a pain. If you got Nakua, it's going to be a pain. The running game is going to be a pain. That team is just a pain altogether. You're going to be highly disappointed. But going to the Packers, Aaron Jones coming back, kind of looking like the older Aaron Jones a little bit. What's your confidence level, or how high are you ranking Aaron Jones going forward?
he's a running back that can run forward. He's going to be depending upon matchup. He's got to be like right around the 10, 12, 13 range every week. And then because he was still he's getting less than 4 points a carry, but he still got a touchdown. So the Rams were putrid, as it makes it just painful to see. But yeah, I think that's Jones. I mean, you're going to play him looking at the injuries that are coming up. He's probably 10 to 14 depending upon the week. I mean, that's
Yeah, I mean,
sick for an
there's
already.
really no competition with AJ Dillon not really being much of anything. I mean, he's kind of been of a letdown. I'm not saying we were really high on the guy anyway, but what AJ Dillon has been thought about over the last couple of years, we thought maybe it's something more, but not at all. But yeah, I
Hey,
think Aaron Jones.
cool connection here. Dontavian Wicks. My buddy's daughter's dating Dontavian Wicks. He was telling me, he's like, yeah. I was like, oh, that's kind of cool. I was like,
All right,
I was like, cool. I was like, I didn't realize.
man.
Yeah, so my kids have been asking about Dontavian Wicks because they know the family, and it's kind of cool.
Yeah.
Wahoo wah.
Oh, yeah. So another bad game, Commanders, Pats. Not a lot to talk about here. So I'm just going to talk about my guys. John Dodson, another solid game. So that's back to back. I'm not saying I'm all like ready to go back and starting Jahan Dotson everywhere if I
I
can.
did.
But the confidence is kind of building with Sam Howell playing this well. Is it going to take one more game next week, or I mean, are you like, I might go back to Dotson here, give him another shot?
He's starting. You've got it. I mean, with what's coming up, he's starting because you're going to be missing all the Dolphins receivers, the Chiefs, and with the bye weeks. So everything's bye week dependent. But right now, he's got the most targets on the team. He got more targets than McLaurin, only one less catch and 4 less yards. I mean, yeah, Jahan Dotson, he's probably gonna start, and yeah, he's moving forward. I mean, Hal had an okay-ish game, but I mean, the Patriots defense isn't what it used to be, but it's not terrible per se. They're not great. They're bad, but not terrible.
Yeah,
So
I just wanted to hear you say start Jahan Dotson. That's all I
start Jahan.
wanted to hear.
Hey, but our boy Ramondre, if he gets some more
Oh
carries,
yeah,
I
yeah,
mean,
yeah, yeah.
if he got 20 carries, he'd have got 200 yards. 9
But
carries
I
for
mean,
87.
with the Redskins trading away half their defensive line, you kind of maybe figured this was going to happen, maybe, right?
Yeah, I thought they were throwing in the towel.
Yeah.
You trade away but then again, but the more I hear around here, those two guys, like I don't watch a lot of Commanders games. I'll be honest. I watched the other and they come up, but those two guys apparently weren't doing anything super astronomical that it was they got value out of guys they weren't going to pay. So it looked better in the news than it did on the field.
Yep. So moving over to Seahawks and Ravens.
Oof.
The Ravens looking good. Lamar Jackson didn't have a great game. Lamar Jackson seems to be boomer bust this year. I mean, it's either a high game or a low game. It's not really anything in the middle that kind of hurts. Are you kind of disappointed with that, or I mean, are you just taking the super high games and dealing with the super low games?
I wish I was a Ravens fan. I wouldn't mind it. I mean, he's managing the game. They're running the ball, and then, I mean, they're winning, so they don't need him. I mean, it was to the point in the fourth quarter they put in Tyler Huntley. So that's why he didn't get more points. It was in the fourth quarter. I mean, everybody and their brother is running for the Ravens right now. We all picked up Keaton Mitchell, then dropped Keaton. Are you bringing him up?
Oh yeah, go ahead.
We all picked up Keaton Mitchell, then dropped him, and this week he goes 9 for $138 and a touchdown. That'd be pleasurable, except I mean, I wasn't sure if I would make him if he should be a surefire waste of a touchdown because people picked him up and dynasty guys.
Are you putting him in the lineup next week?
It would depend. Like I had some lineups this week where I was putting in some garbage. I had to play K-makers. It was that bad this week with some of the lineups.
There's definitely teams that I would start.
I had good. No, I'm talking good teams. I had a good team. I'm going to win a game this week where I had Tua and Tyreek play, and it was terrible, and everything else was terrible. This other guy's team just pooped the bed because he had Tony Pollard. But Keaton Mitchell, I think he needs another. Now, the thing is, everybody's going to start Gus. He only touched the ball 5 times. He had a 42-yard run. The 4 other ones were for 10 yards. But he still had 2 touchdowns. I don't even know what to do with this team. I mean, you're starting Mark Andrews and everything else. You're holding your nose and pushing except. That's all you – I mean, Zay Flowers only had 11 yards, and he's supposedly their best receiver, not named Andrews. Odell magically scored a touchdown. But
I'm not starting any of the nonsense at wide receiver at this point. Moving over to Seattle. After Kenny Walker's good big start to the season, been kind of disappointed the last few weeks. Are you worried at all about this?
Well, considering I traded Jalen Waddle for him, yeah, I'm a little scared.
Might be worried a little bit.
I'm worried a little bit. I had extra receivers, although Waddle pooped the bed. Yeah, the Ravens though they're a top 3 defense on the field. Fantasy, I didn't even pay attention to look and see how many turnovers they got, but I mean, they got a couple fumbles there, but they're a stud defense. So that one, we'll see what happens. We'll see where they go. I mean, the Seattle Seahawks just looked terrible.
What happens when you got freaking what's the quarterback's name? Geno Smith is your quarterback, man.
Update: I had a buddy who was looking to win about $2,500 on DraftKings with Saquon. The last play of the Cowboys game just cost him $2,000.
That sucks. Sorry for that,
poor buddy. Oh, fantasy is so frustrating. And Wes, I still hate DraftKings. Daily fantasy can. Yeah, Wes, I know.
Moving over to
Oh,
probably the
man.
biggest, like the best game of the day, Texans and Bucks. Start out with the Bucks. Start with the Bucks real quick. A guy that we haven't talked about a whole lot, or if at all, is Rashad White.
He's been bad.
Yeah, well, yeah. The last few weeks have been a little better. Started to come out a little double-digit games the last few weeks. Does this open up the door a little bit for him, or from the way you sound, you're just out on him anyway?
I don't have him. I won't throw like guys I saw that beat me in DFS. It's because they put in Rashad White. I would never have played Rashad White, but the Texas defense isn't that great, which is why the Buccaneers put up 37. But he's getting touches and running. It's like receivers that get targets and running backs that get touches. Yeah, if I'm in need, he might be a trade for candidate if you're not past the trade deadline in your league. And that's what to keep an eye for. Hey, by the way, on a side note, everybody, check your trade deadline. You might need to trade now if you're in redraft leagues. We're in too many. Most of our dynasty trades are like up until the end of the regular season. But yeah, I'd play him. I think it's. I mean, he's getting all carries. That's a great thing. And he got four catches, which I mean, he's super valuable. He's got to be the top running back today.
Yeah, probably. But again, that's becoming like tight ends, not being very hard to get to that point these days.
No, he had 2 touchdowns, 73 yards. He had a boat ton of points. He wasn't the other guy we were talking about, but
yeah.
Baker killed it.
Moving over to Texas, of course, you can talk about the wide receivers, but we'll talk about C.J. Stroud here. Just looked fantastic. 5 touchdowns, 400 yards. Just looks great. So my next for real here, I got C.J. Stroud as potential top 5 dynasty quarterback. Is that for real? Yeah. For real?
That's for real. I mean, you got Mahomes as 1, Allen's 2. What do you got? Burrow, maybe. I mean,
so you taking him over? You taking him over Lamar still?
If we're looking at dynasty, they would be neck and neck, but I think I would because he shows he can pass. Stroud has legs. I love this stat. 0 carries for 10 yards, by the way. That's hilarious. But I don't know. There's this typo in ESPN. But he's passing, though. I mean, that's the difference. Like Lamar, I'm afraid he's going to hit 30, not be able to run, and he's dead. I love Lamar. I'm a Lamar fan. Stroud, I haven't even looked at what my offseason dynasty rankings are, but he'd be up there.
You got Stroud over Herbert?
See, Herbert scares me. So yes. I do want to thank the Regulators Dynasty League for letting CJ Stroud drop to me. That was the one where I got cute and I took Bijan, then Gibbs, and just waited for whoever fell to me, and they sent Stroud to me, who I like most.
Is he over your boy Tua too, right?
It would depend how their season goes out. Right now, Tua's probably still hot. They'd be neck and neck, so it'd be close. Probably, I don't know. Like age, he's done more younger, but
the fact that we have the conversation, we're like, I don't know. So I mean, that just goes
between 4 and 10, it's very movable. I think or maybe 4 and 8 or so. There's about a handful of guys right there that would like Herbert, Tua, Stroud, that we're looking at in there.
Yeah, I mean, it looks fantastic. I didn't see this one coming, but I mean, kudos to CJ Stroud. I was able to get him in one spot, so I'm glad. I'm glad it's working out like this.
I almost benched Dalton Schultz in the league.
Yeah, I mean, if you would have benched any of their wide receivers, I mean, like, of course, Noah Brown, you don't have any
Who's
idea.
Noah Brown? Yeah, he's a Cowboy, right? I thought he was a Cowboy.
Yeah. Or is it Noah Brown? Is that who it was?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
He was a Cowboy, though, for a while.
Yeah, then, of course, Tank Dell blows up. So, but he can go back to 3 points next week, so you got to be careful with that. Going over to the Browns, Deshaun Watson finally starting here, playing okay. I mean, looks better than he did before he was injured.
It was the Cardinals. It was
definitely the Cardinals, but at least he's out there playing. We got Amari Cooper.
There's the one.
Yeah. Like Amari Cooper, that with a legitimate quarterback is a really, really good wide receiver, and he's had a pretty bad year. So with Deshaun Watson being back, is Amari Cooper back up to like a top 24 receiver, or are we still sticking to where he's been?
I mean, if he has 100% catch radius like he did this week, I mean, he still was the 3rd most targeted guy on the team. So keep an eye. Njoku's a guy to watch. He had the most he had the 2nd most targets. But yeah, Cooper, he's got to be top 24. I mean, he got 140 yards and a touchdown. Like when Deshaun came back. I mean, but next week will be the litmus test, though, because it is the Cardinals. They were terrible. Their quarterback threw for 58 yards. So that means Kyler's going to play. The original thought was they're going to trade Kyler or Kyler's not going to play. Well, they traded away their best quarterback. Kyler's got – they cannot – there is no way that the state of Arizona – it's not a city anymore – the city of Phoenix is going to let Arizona play this joker for the rest of the year who can't – I mean – good grief! Will Levis played the Pittsburgh defense, which was pretty good. They're not the Browns. They're probably the top.
Browns got pretty good. They got pretty good defense.
Real life defense. Yeah, they got 24 points for me in something.
Yeah, they're pretty good defense. Yeah. So I got one more. There's not a whole lot to go over the afternoon, the late games. But I want to talk about Josh Jacobs. I mean, I was talking crap about him the other day. With my boy Aiden O'Connell stepping in there looking like a good quarterback. I mean, able to manage the game. Josh Jacobs kind of looked like the old Josh Jacobs, kind of. So is Josh Jacobs back in the top 10 RB hunt, or you're not buying it?
New York Giants.
Well,
they might be the only team as bad as the Arizona Cardinals. That team is. I saw a statement on a thread today on one of our threads in our groups. Saquon Barkley is a wasted career in New York. I mean the dude had 90 yards. He was going 5.6 a carry.
Happens to a lot of people, man.
I mean, Steven Jackson still had a stellar career, but man, but it was against the Giants, so we'll see. I mean, I don't know who they play next week. I know in 2 weeks they play the Dolphins because my brother-in-law is a Raiders fan, so I have some good smack.
I will say this: my boy Aiden O'Connell was kind of peppering Devontae Adams every time I seen him. That's who he was throwing to. So
yeah, problem is he only caught 4 of those balls for 30.
He had a big drop. I seen him drop. I've never seen Devontae Adams drop a ball, but he had
7 targets. He led the team on targets. But I mean, he still was giving him Jacoby Myers too, which is good. But Tucker still will show up with the long bomb.
Yeah, I mean, Aiden O'Connell had a couple misplays, but.
Aiden O'Connell's a rookie quarterback. Clayton Thune's a rookie quarterback. Clayton Thune threw for 58 yards. Aiden O'Connell had 4 times that many yards, and he was playing against that. Clayton Thune I would go and just play in the XFL. Just say I'm not good enough for this, and just go away because that goes into territory of what's his name from UCLA, Josh Rosen territory. Like just being bad, like that kind of bad.
Yeah, but Josh Rosen was like a top pick.
Yeah.
That makes it even worse.
Yeah, it makes it even worse. Yeah, like I knew when he got drafted. Like that guy's terrible. Honorable mention though, we missed a guy, Jonnu Smith. I dropped him today. Yeah, that was good. From Van Jefferson.
I was going.
Oops.
But
I got a point.
This kind of. I mean, you can't really. I mean, who knows?
And also another cuttable guy. I think Keontae Ingram is dead to me as well. Like, how do you get the starting role? I don't care if you're playing the 85 Bears. You can't be this bad. Like Keontae Ingram, he should be cut in all formats. He should go with Clayton Thune to the Canadian Football League, not even the XFL. Canadian, maybe the what's that European league that used to exist? Play on the German women's flag football team they were talking about this morning. Those women might be better than him. They said the quarterback for that, she was throwing a nasty spiral. And they were showing on TV. So, but yeah, those two guys, so frustrated. Surefire waste of a touchdown. Okay, let's close it out. If I have the right screen pulled up here, I got too many notes here. Surefire wasted touchdown. We talked about him earlier. I want to give him some mention because we'll see what happens. You ask if he was faux real or for real. I think faux real at this point, but we'll see. 40-yard touchdown run for the Baltimore Ravens. Could have been another one for Gus, but nope. He only gets like 5 carries. This is Keaton Mitchell, rookie extraordinaire. He might be on some teams still, but he probably got cut by everybody because we were so mad when he was popular to pick up. So that would qualify him this week, not next week.
Well, it's definitely a surefire waste of a touchdown. I mean, you can't go because I can't imagine anybody like, let's pick him up, but I'm gonna put him in my starting lineup. But like you said, next week, I think this might be his last week. He's being able to be on the list, so you got to get him on there while you can.
He's not Nick Keenan Westbrook, who will be on it next week when he scores again. There's no way. He might be a guy that I'm just always going to say it. We mentioned him earlier. Somehow at 153 yards, Noah Brown. half of his yards were on a bomb from C.J. Stroud, but still he had another 78 yards. That's insane. Where did this come from? I mean, I saw he was a top waiver pick, but I didn't see anybody in my leagues pick him up. So I could play him. The other two guys were better, but whatever happened to Robert Woods? Is he hurt?
I haven't heard
He was
about him all
supposed to be
year.
their wide receiver one, but yeah, that's still a surefire.
Surefire waste of a touchdown, but that's one of those guys that you probably will hear about for the rest of the year.
I mean, this is so bad. I've only got 3 more. That's how bad the touchdowns are. There's a lot of surefire kickers this week. We have a 6-yard pass from our hero of the week, Joshua Dobbs. You know it's got to go to Jordan Addis. Nope. KJ Osborne. Nope. He got knocked out. We'll see how that concussion goes. That's all that's left. Oh, Alexander Madison. Oh, he got one, but no. Brandon Powell.
I don't even know what that is.
He's probably a waiver wire pickup if KJ's concussion's too bad. They say most concussion guys this year have tended to miss a week, so he could be a nasty bye-week streamer. But yeah, nobody has him, so that makes it.
Still, surefire waste of a touchdown. I never even heard of that guy. So
yeah, I've heard of him. He's been around, but I don't think was he drafted by the Chiefs? Maybe I don't know. I've seen him come around, but yeah, I was like, oh, come on. But I love seeing Joshua Dobbs. Anything Joshua Dobbs this week would qualify in here because he was supposed to get 0.00. I didn't even think he was active, to be honest. Poor Nick Mullins. 31-yard touchdown from Tua Tagovailoa. I got one in. Had to beat a Tyreek. No, he fumbled away the game. They literally lost because he fumbled the ball. Jalen Waddle, he was hurt all day. Mostert salvaged his day in like 5 minutes of the game. He was terrible the rest of the game. Nope. Cedric Wilson Jr., former Cowboy who we paid too much right before we got to no one has him, I don't think. I almost DFS'd him, but nope. But that is definitely a
surefire waste of a touchdown. If you DFS Cedric Wilson, you're ahead of the game, my friends.
Well, no, only in like the ones where it's like a single game thing and he's worth like $300, and then I'll put like all studs. That's where I throw in guys like that. Yeah,
I can't imagine anybody.
Not in a regular DFS. No,
Cedric Wilson. Like, yeah, I'm definitely going to start Cedric Wilson today.
I've done even. I do that thing where I was playing like Tyreek, Tua, Kelsey, and Mahomes, and then I put like some dumpster guys in there. It didn't work out for me. Usually it does, but last one, we have a 5-yard touchdown pass from your boy Dak Prescott. Had to be number 88. No. Oh, maybe it's Turd Ferguson for another one. No. Oh, Tony Pollard. No, he doesn't play football anymore. Kevontae Turpin. 5-yard touchdown pass from I didn't know his first name. I've seen Turpin randomly just on a stat board, but yeah, that's definitely
you're a fire waste of a touchdown.
And this week I have a bonus. First ever surefire waste of a field goal. This is a 29-yard field goal, courtesy of Dare. I'm going to say his name wrong. Agumbawale, running back extraordinaire for the Houston Texans because the kicker went down. They brought him out at halftime. His kickoffs, dude's got a leg. His kickoffs were great. This is the only step. They didn't do any extra points, but they're going for 2. But he kicked a 29-yard field goal. How about that? If he hadn't kicked that field goal, they would have lost by 1.
They would have lost the game.
That's a surefire waste of a field goal. First ever. I'll never use it.
Of a field goal. Yeah, you might never get to say that ever again, so you might as well use it when you can.
But I wanted to recognize it.
A 29-yard field goal is still really hard to kick.
Crazy. Yeah, dude. I remember trying in high school doing like a 10-yard. I think we did on the field. It was like
yeah, then sticking the ball as close as I can. I have a hard time getting off the ground.
You're a soccer kicker. You probably did a little better, but
I was not a soccer player, dude.
That's all I got, man.
Yeah, like it was pretty much a bad day, but all I got really for my wisdom here is I think with the way the quarterback situation is going, the amount of backups, like all third stringers are going to have to be rostered in dynasty leagues at this point, right? I mean, we're gonna be having like Trey Lance at some point ended up having to play because all these quarterbacks are going down. But yeah, just make sure you're looking at backup quarterbacks, especially if you're playing Dynasty. I mean, these guys could spot start here, 10, 12 points. I mean, a backup quarterback, 12 points, I mean, it's still better than like some running backs or wide receivers. So it's definitely better than a 0. So as always, trust yourself and trust the process.